Your mortgage isn't just a bill. It's one of the most powerful tools you have for building long-term wealth. But to truly maximize its potential, you need to understand how principal and interest work together and how this impacts your investment strategy. So in my years of real estate investing and property management, I've seen that people often miss opportunities to build equity faster because they don't fully grasp how loan payments are structured. When you get it right, you can leverage your tenants' rent payments to increase your wealth. If you blindly follow traditional advice, like making biweekly payments to pay down your loan faster, you might end up hurting your cash flow and flexibility. The right strategy for principal reduction can save you time, money, and stress. Early in my career, I didn't really know how mortgages worked. Like some people, I remember asking my bank manager, after a couple of years, why my balance wasn't going down despite all of my regular payments. And he showed me something called the amortization schedule. And then it finally clicked. Most of my payment was going to interest. As I scaled my portfolio, I learned how to optimize principal reduction without sacrificing cash flow or tying up my money unnecessarily. And that's why today I want to share both how mortgage payments are structured and my personal approach to handling principal reduction strategically. Mortgage structure, understanding principal and interest. A mortgage is typically repaid over 15, 20, 25, 30 years with monthly payments divided into interest, which is your cost of borrowing, calculated on the current loan balance, principal, the amount that reduces your loan balance. At the beginning of your mortgage, most of your payment goes towards interest because the loan balance is still high. Let's give an example. For a $225,000 loan at 4.5% interest, your first payment might allocate $700 to interest and $300 to principal. Over time, as your principal balance decreases, the amount of interest charged also drops. Kind of makes sense because it's making that calculation. So let's give an example. Let's say you start with, again, that $225,000 mortgage, and in year one, you pay $5,000 towards your principal and $10,000 towards interest. Year 10, you pay $7,000 towards principal and only $8,000 towards interest. But by year 20, most of your payment goes towards principal, significantly increasing your equity. The importance of the tenant paying, though, is really critical here. Because as a rental property owner, you're not paying this loan alone. Your tenant's rent payments cover the mortgage, effectively building equity for you. Over 10 years, principal reduction might total $50,000 to $70,000, entirely funded by your tenants. Now, I don't actually recommend accelerated biweekly payments, and this is just my opinion, might not be popular, but many financial experts suggest accelerated biweekly payments to reduce your mortgage term, and that's fine because it's okay, rather, if it's your personal residence. Where my opinion comes in, it's because this method results in one full payment extra per year. So that's great. It reduces your loan by several years and saving interest. However, I prefer a different approach. Instead of locking yourself into those extra payments, bank that money for emergencies or reinvestment opportunities, and here's why. Number one, you're going to improve your cash flow by not having that accelerated payment. That extra cash on hand gives you flexibility to handle unexpected expenses. Could be maintenance, could be a hot water tank goes, whatever it is. Now you have a little bit of cash in the bank. Lump sum advantage. At any time, you can make a lump sum payment towards your mortgage, achieving basically the same thing as biweekly payments. Now, depending on your lender, they might only allow you to do a lump sum payment of a certain percentage. Up here in Canada, it's typically around 10%. Now, the thing is with this strategy of mine, I still believe that it's a minimal interest impact between the two strategies, lump sum payment or biweekly accelerated, and then the interest savings aren't really that significant enough to justify reducing your liquidity and your flexibility. This strategy has helped me maintain cash flow, strong cash flow along all of my portfolio, especially when properties needed emergency repairs or upgrades. And if you think about it, I'm only talking about one property. What if you had 5 or 10 and you did this strategy all the way across? You're going to have a significant pool of money for any kind of large repairs, even a roof or a furnace. So I'd like you to focus on key periods when extra payments have the most impact, and that's typically within the first 10 years. So those lump sum payments can significantly lower your total interest costs without locking you into a rigid payment schedule. Refinancing is another tool to leverage your equity for growth. Now, you could use the BRRRR strategy, that's buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat, to pull equity and then fund new investments. But be mindful of refinancing fees, interest rates, and loan terms to ensure your alignment with your long-term goals. You could use refinancing as a tool for growth as well, because once your equity has grown, refinancing allows you to leverage that equity to acquire more properties. Again, this is central to that BRRRR strategy that I mentioned. So to summarize, mortgage payments are divided between interest and principal. Early payments focus heavily on interest, but over time, more of your payment goes towards principal reduction. As a rental property owner, your tenant's rent pays down your mortgage, building equity for you year after year. Rather than locking yourself into biweekly payment plans, maintain cash flow flexibility by saving for lump sum payments. So today we broke down how mortgage payments work and why principal reduction is one of the most powerful ways to build wealth. If you're serious about learning more strategies like this, I'd love for you to join My First Keys community, where we guide our members through every step of the real estate investing transaction. We're offering a free 6-week trial, no credit card required. Please click the link in the show notes below to get started.